right here. Just right here.
Where that money went. If they find that money went in some guy's back pocket, there's going to be some heads rolling.
You damn
It is
right.
France, after all, guillotine friendly.
Now, France need to. I will say we will not. France, you will not have the Olympics for 10 years after this whole performance. What the fuck?
No,
was that?
10 years, not even like try like 50 to 100.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was the weirdest shit. This is not the time for weird. This is the time for just give us a performance, something.
Yeah, and I mean, talk
normal.
about a structured event, dude. The Olympics is like the most structured, ruled, refereed event.
Yeah, what the
Just
fuck?
give us that.
Just give us something that show French culture, not in a weird way. Just give us something that's easy. Not no blue. What the fuck is that?
So, but you know what's strange about that is France. What are they most well known for? Their most positive aspect of their country.
Do they have one?
Food.
Food. Yeah,
French
that is
cuisine.
food. Yeah, that is true.
So their most popular quality is failing. That's. I mean, I guess
that is ironic. Yeah, that's fuck. Like, what the hell? Someone should get fired. They need to fire. Major firings need to happen. That's ridiculous. How the hell? Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Yo.
Oh, I'll see you on cam, Brandon. I'll join up.
What's up?
This is the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's cool you brought that to our attention, dude. I've heard some other things in the Olympics. I've mostly just been watching like girls beach volleyball. America's doing pretty good.
Okay.
The men, I believe the men beat Brazil today.
That's nice.
Yeah, so
the shooter sport.
So the thing on the Olympics, that was the Feast of Dionysus. The blue man, that was Dionysus. He is the god of tits and wine. Like literally, he is the party god. So
I thought that was Bacchus.
No,
I
Dionysus.
think they're the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like there are stories
Drunken
of like
revelry
Dionysus homeless on the streets, and Alexander the Great like coming up to him, and him telling him to bring him all of the bones of the royals and the Caesars. And so he brings those bones to Dionysus, and Dionysus tells him that there's no difference between his bones and those bones. Basically saying that everyone is the same. So he wasn't just the god of parties. He was also like what was it? Supposed to be like a wise philosopher or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, the Dionysus is like basically the Greek god of like partying. There is, let's see here.
I don't think he's the god.
He's ritual. Not Ritual Madness? No. Look him up. He's known for the party of God, past party of festivals and shit.
Yeah, I thought that was
there
Bacchus.
there is a painting of the Feast of Dionysus. If you like Google Feast of Dionysus, you'll come up on these paintings. You'll notice that there is a table in the middle of this painting. There are people that are actually gathered all around the table, as opposed to the Last Supper, where they're all just on one side of the table as if they're posing for a picture. So in the Feast of Dionysus, you'll notice that there are people that are moved in different directions. And if you look at the
they can show the testicles.
If you look at a picture of the thing that was presented at the Olympics, you'll notice that their poses correspond more with this painting than they do with the poses from the people in the Last Supper. There are literally people that are in opposite poses from the Last Supper, and that's because those poses are on the Dionysus painting.
Do you think the display was gay enough?
Well, it's France, so probably not.
It could have gone gayer.
Most definitely.
Thank God they took it to a limit stop there.
I doubt that, to be honest. I doubt that they could have gone further.
The reason why the person was blue is because there's a very famous statue of Dionysus. Over time, that statue has oxidized to where it looks like it's blue. So more than likely, he was supposed to represent the statue and not the god itself.
Copper statue.
Yes. Now, I do believe that this would actually be more looked at as an homage to various religions, because there is the the halo thing behind the main actress's head. And I think I'm trying to find a bigger picture of the whole thing. I think I noticed some other things from other religions. But anyway, let me ask you guys a question about the Last Supper painting.
Sure.
Why is that supposed to be sacred?
The Last Supper?
The Last Supper painting.
Our answer this one.
So let me think. The Last Supper was the last time that he was.
Okay, no. Not the Last Supper as it's described in the Bible. The Last Supper painting. Why is that a religious artifact?
I would say it's symbolic of the actual Last Supper in the Bible. Therefore, it has that attachment to it.
Okay, so was it? Did all of those people pose on that side of the table for Da Vinci to paint that painting?
It was an artist's rendition of the Last Supper.
It was, yes, correct.
I don't know.
So in the Bible, in the Bible, it does actually describe that table, correct?
I don't remember actually if it describes that table.
It should.
So does it describe everybody sitting on one end of the table or sitting on one side of the table as if they're posing for a picture?
The argument that you're creating is why does that matter? If there was an artist rendition of what it was and it was symbolic of that event and people were mocking it.
Okay, so let me tell you why.
Let me
tell you why it matters. Actually, so it actually matters because Da Vinci was not, as we can really tell, religious of any kind. There were Catholics around at his at the time that he lived. However, if you look at his art, there's not really much religious symbols in them. Like they're used as window dressing. The Last Supper itself was more than likely commissioned by somebody. I don't really see a reason why he would have, painted that painting just on his own based on his other works. Huh?
Are you saying that he didn't? Are you saying that he didn't paint the Last Supper, and that's what they're saying it is
Oh no.
Anyway,
I'm saying he did paint the Last Supper. I'm just saying that it was more than likely somebody came to him, told him that they wanted that painting the way that it is, and he painted it the way that they described.
Okay.
Wouldn't that
I
make
will
more
actually
sense?
add one layer on top of
So
what
what?
you
Okay,
said. I will
basically, what I'm
actually
telling
add.
you is that you're
So
putting
when you
religious. You're
Well,
putting
hold on,
religious.
Brandon. Just hold on, buddy. Give him a chance to respond.
So when you actually look at the depiction of Christ himself, the actual depiction is meant to be, if I'm not mistaken, it was supposed to be some kind of prince at that time, Medici or something like this, an Italian prince that they used as a basis to draw what you know as Christ. But the thing is, Christ was from Palestine. He was from Nazareth, right? So he he did not look white or pale like this, and his hair did not look like that in the Bible.
Of course.
I cannot quote it precisely, but it said something along the lines of he was a man among the people. In terms of his physical features, he did
Right.
not look very different.
I
And
don't
they
think
were,
anyone here is going to argue that Jesus was white.
yeah. So when you are looking at the depiction of, as you said, the Last Supper, no one looks as they are supposed to look. The idea that this is, let's say, an accurate one-to-one rendition of what would have been the Last Supper is ridiculous, because if they were all from the Levantine region and they all looked as people, يعني, they did not look strange among the people. You put this depiction alongside, for example, a Lebanese family or a Syrian family or a Palestinian family, they would not look like that. Maybe
I
some,
understand
but
your point. I understand that it's an artist rendition and that they weren't
yeah,
ethnically correct. I understand your point.
Jesus was a
they are,
wigger.
they would not be correct at all. It's just a rendition based on what Da Vinci was told to draw, and he has had this before when he depicted Christ. He was depicting him based on what he was told. So it's not a strange thing for it to be the same here. But I think the weight of the significance comes from what is being depicted more so than the accuracy of the actual depiction.
Okay,
I
More
agree.
so,
so
yeah,
let me
this is what's actually significant.
let me try this a different way. Let's say that there is a really good artist today, and the Catholic Church commissions this person to paint a painting of Christ. Is that painting now a religious symbol that if you make fun of it, that you're going to hell, you're a demon, and nobody should ever watch you again?
If you're making fun of a painting
that was painted today, that was commissioned by the Catholic Church.
Yeah. If someone made a painting and people made fun of the painting, I don't care.
Okay, so why would
But if someone's
do you care about
blaspheming Christ, if someone's blaspheming Christ, that's more than just them saying that painting sucks. Haha. To me, I'm not going to judge them, but if the law of the Bible is truth, then that is upon their heads.
Okay.
Yeah, but Christianity has been like the gayest thing to ever happen to Western civilization. So, I mean, there's that.
Thanks for your opinion.
What exactly is the blasphemous part?
Do not take the Lord's name in vain. Do not shit on Christ. Not as poetic.
Okay, well, I mean within that presentation in Paris at the Olympics.
You should go more with do not make a graven image and do not worship it, because that's what a painting would be more so of, making an image of Christ, because we don't know what he looked like, and if people are going to make a picture of him and worship that, that's outside the scope.
Okay, what about other times? What about other times when people make fun of the Last Supper? In the History of the World Part 1, they actually do the joke that I said a minute ago. That's where I got it from, where everybody poses on one side of the painting, and Da Vinci finishes up his painting, and then he walks out and gets paid. Is that blasphemous?
I think that it's freedom of speech, and people have the freedom to do that.
Okay, so why?
I have a
wouldn't-
question.
Okay.
I have a question. If you change the context, so let's say we're talking about the Last Supper here in a religious context. If you change the context of what is being presented, is it still blasphemous?
What does that mean? I don't understand the question.
Well, so in this case here, you can reasonably argue that France wasn't actually targeting the religious aspect of the Last Supper, and more rather the Greek part of that story, right? That predates Christianity. So my question is, right, is it just the context that religious people are putting to a particular image, in this case, the Last Supper, which at the end of the day is not an inherently Christian thing? So what part is it that is blasphemous against Jesus, or is it just simply the context?
This is the best I can answer that. If these people were mocking Christ and making a perversion of what that Last Supper truly meant, that bothers Christians. It's not a matter of they're condemned. It's just the Christians are like, that sucks that they would even make all that effort to do that. But for their freedom and to do that and all that, and they're like, for whatever, it's all on them. Like if they were just, it meant a lot to them. Apparently, it meant a lot to them to make this portrayal, and they did. And then there's people in the Christian nation that are just like, why would you do that? Like, what is your point? Why would you go to all that effort?
Well, as you know, a French revolutionist would tell you, it's a big middle finger to religions, right? Because
Right.
France is a secular. France is a very proud. I won't say proud, but French history, in a way, is proud secularism, if you want to put it in that notion. So to them, there is nothing that is off limits. It's a celebration.
Right. No,
anything,
more power
right?
to them. But
That-
people that pulled out of their funding, they had the right to do that also, right?
I don't disagree. I think, unfortunately, in this case, it's a misconstruction. I think it's Christians that are putting value to something that isn't inherently Christian, right? The Christians have co-opted this particular thing, and they're putting a little bit too much weight to the meaning of what it actually means.
It's possible, but there's enough symbolism involved in it that enough Christians are looking at it like it was a mocking of Christ. Like the woman that's in the middle, the whore of Babylon, more than a symbol of Christ. It's just there's layers to it that people could be speculating and taking out of place, I'm sure. But it also could be true. And it's hard to say exactly unless they say and release something and are openly and honest, like this was this meaning and this was this meaning.
Guys, come on. It should be obvious to the fresh mind that whoever organized this and allowed it and propagated this Olympic event is a Satanist, and they quite frankly want to cause as
Hail
much harm to God as they can.
Satan!
Well, I mean, the Olympics. I mean, but the Olympics in and of themselves are pretty much at this point like it was a pagan celebration of athleticism at the end of the day, right? So like the Olympics in and of itself aren't even remotely Abrahamic or religious in any way, shape, or form. So,
yes, but that does not justify their actions. Whether or not they're religious or not, they've obviously picked a side, and they're on the side of the devil. And this is just showing you they don't give a fuck about us unless you're sitting at their table, unless you're one of them. And
same thing goes for you. Well, same thing goes for you. You would rather have them shut up because they're insulting your way of being and your moral high ground, and because you view religion as the highest bastion of what somebody can hold. Anybody who insults that is lesser than you, right? So you're doing the same thing, just in reverse.
No, I'm not a fascist. I view everyone equally, whether they're gay, whether they believe in Satan. I don't care. I have one level of respect for everybody. That's a basis. Then you build on that. They have
But
a basis.
you decide who you wish to spend time with, right?
This has nothing to do with it.
But
I'm
Russian.
I
sort of
don't
does.
live in England. My country was not allowed into the Olympics for fascist reasons. And so I don't really care what they do. I don't care if they all go fuck each other in the ass at the end of the night. It doesn't affect me at all. I don't live
Since
in
they're
their
not
country.
getting meals, maybe that is what they're doing.
I think when it comes to this, right, is that all we're asking them to do, is to not do something versus asking them to take an action. We're just asking them to chill out and just sit back. That's all.
They'll never do this, and they've never done it.
And so we're not asking them to do like a positive action which requires some form of energy. We're just asking them to, not do something off for fuck's sake.
Then apologize.
I have a question.
Okay.
just to follow up on, I just have one question. They paraded Marie Antoinette beheaded, pissing blood into the fucking Sinai River. So is
Literally,
that
they've had her piss
acceptable?
blood in the river.
Right?
You know what?
Is that acceptable, or is
I
it
don't-
just because it's religion?
I
That's
don't
so
think that's
extreme, man.
acceptable either. I didn't know that shit. What the fuck? Friends, someone should have just told friends, just don't be fucking weird. What the fuck is that? This is Olympics. This is not no art show. This is for everybody. God damn, just show your food. God, why can't people just be normal? Just give us a good performance. Something with
And baguettes
violence.
for everyone.
Give us
Not baguettes,
baguettes.
baguettes.
Not baguette. Yeah, baguette. Get the baguettes. Give us.
Nah, get the fuckers
know-
out of there, man. I'll be real with you. Like, what the fuck? It's the
God,
celebration of sports, not of gay people. Hello?
it's a celebration.
We don't need rainbow flags in the fucking Olympics. Do
Yeah,
that
this is
in Pride
about-
Month. Do that whenever you want.
They,
We need to have a
Real
sportsman,
Christian
not Snoop
values
Dogg.
going on
Why
there,
the fuck do
guys.
we have a chronicle smoker opening up the Olympics? A chronic smoker. Not very sporty anymore, you know. You should look at the Russian Olympics in Sochi in 2014.
Snoop Dogg was at the Olympics.
Snoop Dogg did one of the opening ceremonies. Yeah, he was carrying the torch.
Oh yeah, dude, he was
Cool.
there for the tennis match.
What's
too.
wrong? What the
Yeah,
fuck is
it's
wrong
like-
with
Then
that?
they had yeah.
Come on,
Then they
they
had
take away the
Celine
whole
Dion.
meaning of
They had Celine Dion and Lady Gaga doing performances, which I'm not necessarily against, but it's just like, how many French artists do you fucking have? Like, you have a country full of 120
Okay.
fucking million French people, and you couldn't have one of them do an act? Like, it's why are you going to
Okay,
other
but
countries and other celebrities to
Celine Dion is
celebrate your
actually
country?
French Canadian though, and
It's
Ah,
too
she,
French.
this was
She's not
the first.
Gaga
Hold on a
sounds like
second.
French.
Hold
She's
on a
not
second.
from
Hold on a
France,
second. Hold on a
okay?
second. This was like the first performance Celine Dion has done in years since she was like diagnosed with the disease that's killing her. And
Listen,
I
I'm a
don't-
big Celine Dion
Okay,
fan. I'm
okay.
a
Personally,
born and
I
bred
haven't watched
French
any of this
Canadian,
shit
I'm a
because
born and bred.
none of the Olympics is really that interesting, except for like the swimming and the fucking Winter Olympics. I'll turn those on
Oh,
occasionally.
girls beat volleyball, man.
Just
Come
to
on.
look and see what's going on. No, dude. Literally, dude, I really do not
dude.
care for sports at all. Like, I think it
Oh.
is the
The
bane
Tokyo
of our
Olympics is very
existence
nice.
that like sports exists.
Yeah, but
Tokyo
Okay, and that's just going crazy. Humans need sports. They need to
You're
move
crazy
around.
people don't like
Shit.
sports, Brandon.
God, they need
crazy, man.
sport. They need sports. Like people, we got obesity in probably damn country. Somebody's got to do something.
We need
In
to
the
have
words
more
of-
Olympic board
in-
games.
In the
Okay,
words
wait a
of
minute.
Socrates,
You guys
in the
you
words
guys
of
are completely like
Socrates, it
flipping
is
what I'm
com-
saying. Yeah, if you enjoy doing something, by all means, do that thing. However, we should not be putting all of this fucking like pomp and circumstance into fucking sports of any kind.
Actually,
I
All right,
think
so
it's-
1 second. Hold on, guys.
Okay,
Give
go ahead,
Alexi
go
a chance.
Okay.
Give
okay.
Alexi started and got cut, so give him the chance. Socrates'
please.
point.
in the words of Socrates, it's a paragraph, but I'm gonna tell you the last sentence. He says, "It is a matter of common knowledge that grave mistakes may often be traced to bad health," and this is in the context of sports. So you're saying sports is irrelevant or something? I don't understand your
was
point.
saying
But
sports-
As in exercise is healthy, is that the
sport
summarization?
is one of the key things in life. You won't live until 80 without sports, without walking, without
Okay,
using your muscles.
no. That's where you're
Alexi,
completely
you-
wrong. You need activity. You do not need sports. However, sports
was talking
sports
about-
for some people are fun. If you enjoy that activity of that specific sport, then
That's
by
just
all
the pole
means go
dancing.
do that. But no, there should not be all this
Sports
pomp
is
and
just-
circumstance for any sport, much less a bunch of fucking sports that nobody watches except for once every 4 years because their country is sending somebody to go do it.
Actually,
My country don't
when you
participate in the Olympics.
when you look at the way that politics and sports are tied, surprisingly, there is quite an important role that sports play in terms of political affairs and ties, not just affairs but ties also, and relationships between countries are
Yeah. I also
tied.
I also think that sports sports from a youth and amateur standpoint are a boon to society. Like you want your society to be engaged in some level of elite sport in one form or another.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take. So I'm gonna drop an article, or not article, but a clip of a video I cropped. So I think it was today, and this was in the Olympics. There was a man that is a woman, or however you say that.
It's a
in
woman.
female-
No,
in
it's a man.
boxing.
It's a man. It's a dude. It's a guy with a dick.
Wait, which one's the man and which one? Well, which
The
one?
red,
Which?
the red is the one that is unique, and the blue
Yeah,
is the
she's
woman.
not a man. So this is a very unique scenario, but it's got a very, very easy solution. Like,
What
but
is
this,
it? What
this
makes
does.
it unique?
So this particular person has the female sex, but has what do you call it? Basically, has the female chromosomes, but has male organs that create an extreme amount of testosterone. So, like, this person has a very, very, very rare and unique medical condition that doesn't make her a male. It just
Nah,
makes her
come on,
produce
man.
testosterone
Absolutely.
like a male.
Are we talking about
Absolutely, this guy is
hermaphrodites?
completely right, and this is what I've been telling you guys. Whenever you start saying that, oh, well, we can tell when it's a real female and when it's not. No, the fuck you can't, because you guys are sitting here saying that this woman is a man because she has a condition that actually gives her more T than normal.
The condition is a penis.
She has a condition.
No, the
a
fuck
condition.
it's not.
Condition.
No, the fuck it's not,
She
dude.
has a
You are
condition.
fucking retarded. The
She
woman
has
is
a
not
condition
trans.
where she has XY
The woman is not
chromosomes.
trans,
She has
dude.
XY chromosomes.
And you
She
are
has
you are
XY
doing
chromosomes.
you are
mate,
doing
She
what
has
Wait a second.
XY chromosomes.
Incarnation just said that
here-
that it has XX, but it's got a penis. That's what I heard from
Hang
her.
on. Hear
No,
him out.
no, she doesn't have a penis. She doesn't have a penis. She has female bits, but she has some male organs that produce an excessively high level of testosterone.
But it is
She has
XX
XY
chromosome.
chromosomes. She has XY chromosomes.
She
Can you
has
guys like
XY
drop the source?
chromosome.
That's what
She
you
is
know.
not
Yeah.
transgender.
She's not transgender. Like, she's not a transgender person. She is a female by all normal standards. She is a female.
Except
Is it
for her
a
genetics.
hermaphrodite?
Except for her genetics,
Exactly.
she's a hermaphrodite. Exactly. She's
This is
a
a
ladyboy.
this is
She's
an
a ladyboy with no
intersex-
dick. She had a
Is
snip snip.
hermaphrodite correct? Is this a hermaphrodite situation?
Yeah, they call them
Not
intersex now, but it's but
Not
that's-
really hermaphrodite. It's more unique than a hermaphrodite because a hermaphrodite will often present both sexual reproductive organs. This person does not have both sexual reproduction organs, but she has organs within her body that create an excessively high level of testosterone. And when your body creates an excessively high level of testosterone, well, everything will follow suit. Bigger muscles, bigger bone mass, bigger fucking everything, because that's exactly what testosterone does to a human body. So this
Right.
person should not have competed because her testosterone levels are way, way, way above normal levels. But they made an exception for her because she's technically not on steroids.
Right.
was
That's some
actually
complicated
initially
shit.
banned. She was actually initially
Yeah.
banned.
Wow,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
from-
it's very odd that you're now saying gender is a complicated shit.
Yeah, if they have an XX
Yeah, this is-
chromosome, because I
How-
base it on XXXY.
Okay, how
Yeah.
rare? No. How
Wow.
rare is this? How rare is this? No, because it's like
Very rare.
This person's
Insanely rare.
in.
Okay,
So this
let
is
me
not
let me
a representative of the whole
let
thing.
me explain to
Most
you guys.
people
Let me
are
explain to you
either
guys
male
how
or
rare it is.
female.
Let me explain to you guys how rare it is. My wife was born this way.
Okay, how does that work as a percentage?
That has nothing to
What
do
is the
with
my
rarity.
wife unit of measurement?
We have 2 kids, and she has one before me that she gave birth to. That I
No, but I'm
watched
saying
her
that-
give birth to.
So your wife is creating XX chromosomes that have high testosterone.
No, she is not exactly like this woman, but she was born like she is in this classification.
Alexi,
Where
can
she
you
has-
find percentage of this
She
scenario?
has female. So here, let's simplify it. She has female sexual reproductive organs, which means she can give birth to a child. But
The
she
box.
also has other organs that are more commonly found in males that would produce things that are more closely related to males. That's the easiest way to describe it.
The president of the International Boxing Association, the IBA, Umar Kremlov, who is the champion of the world, and he's been through it, and he manages this whole organization, called it like a joke on world sports. And I said his quotes in the chat. In the chat, he said, "It's wrong for converted men to fight with women. This is direct infringement.
He's not a
We must not allow this to happen."
She is not a converted man.
We all agree with that.
It shouldn't happen in sports at all.
She
There are
is
female
not a
species, there are
trans
male
woman.
species. But by genetics, she is. She has XY chromosome. She is a man.
Oh, so
It's
now
a
you're
man.
saying
By
so now you're saying
chromosomes,
so
it's
now
a
you're
man.
saying that genetically
Genetically,
somebody
it's
can
not.
be trans.
So now you're.
I don't believe in
Wait,
transgender.
no, wait.
If you're born with it,
Wait.
Okay, so
Alexi,
okay, so you don't believe in
Alexi,
transgender, but you do
wait,
believe that.
Alexi.
All right, I'll shut up.
Alexi, if a woman could carry XY chromosomes. Okay, so that means that a man effectively could give birth to a kid. Right? You have to be careful when you go hardline into genetics like this. We all agree that for 99% of the fucking world and pretty much every species on the face of this planet, there are two sexual reproductive organs, male and female. And there are two distinct there are two distinct physiological differences between the life forms that hold whatever gametes that are either male or female. We all agree on that.
No.
Look at this. This is what I'll tell you the source.
Yeah.
Okay, but
this is a Russian source.
This is not.
Welcome, Bandy. By the way, it's good to have you, brother.
She does. She has female. He has female organs, but is a man. He was born with female organs, but he is a man.
No,
he's a man in a female body. That's all it is.
Can you post your
the issue
reference
is-
text, Alexi? You have you posted the text, but not the source.
Sure, no problem. But you won't understand it. It's not in your native tongue.
Oh, great.
The issue is.
But Google translates a thing.
The problem is that in Algeria this is illegal. They do not have this thing of transgenders. So how do you reconcile this? Algeria is a Muslim country.
Well, so for me it's really simple, right? For the female category, the women's category in the Olympics, there's two criteria you need to have. That you're a female, so you have a vagina and
and boobs.
It's one
a particular threshold, and that you are within a particular threshold of testosterone. So if you're above that level of testosterone, too bad. You can't fucking compete. It's that simple.
It looks like it's called Morris
It's
syndrome.
that simple.
Yeah. But as I say, she was actually prohibited from playing before.
Yeah, she was banned in other leagues because her testosterone levels are through the roof, right? Right. She was banned from many boxing leagues because her testosterone levels are. Yeah. She shouldn't be competing. Like it's to me, the fact that she's competing is a joke. Like
Okay,
it's ridiculous.
so let me ask.
But I'm not going to.
Hold on. Let me ask everybody a question real quick. So for everybody that was saying earlier that sports is very important for everybody to do, what sport exactly do you think this woman should choose? Since boxing, the one that she loves, isn't somewhere. Isn't like the thing that she should be doing.
So
what she should be doing.
Well, boxing has the benefit. Non-sanctioned boxing has the benefit of having an open category and a women's category. Pretty much most leagues or most organizations operate this way. The men's category is typically open to anybody. Anybody can compete in it. The women's category is the one that has restrictions on it.
Okay, I want to make a
so by that
yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay,
so Dank, you ever seen one of those cows that's super buffed up on hormones?
Okay. What does this have to do with
now take a normal cow and would you put them up with against, if they were to box, just theoretically, those two cows, would you put them up against the hormonally altered cow?
but she's not hormonally altered. She is natural.
If she is hormonally altered, they are all
1.7% of the
Hormones are
population.
very
is
normal
not
in the Olympics.
1.7% of the population is not considered a norm.
Okay, but you're not giving
So-
a one-to-one example.
Anyway.
Nobody injected her with
All right.
testosterone.
What were we talking about?
She produces it herself.
Right.
So your theory of injecting
but-
a cow with hormones and having it box another cow that's not on hormones is completely retarded in every fucking sense of the word.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It is. It's not
Yeah,
a one-to-one
but,
fucking
again,
comparison.
Real
dude.
quickly, guys. Real quickly on the side. So I believe this is called Morris syndrome, and it's saying from an abstract in this article that it's 1 in 20,000 individuals that have the aspect of Morris syndrome. So I don't know how much of their existence is affected by the Morris syndrome, like where this boxer is on the scale of things, but 1 in 20,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I leave,
It's fairly rare. It's
I
fairly rare.
wanted to
Let's
say
put it
one
that
thing
way.
to Brandon. Brandon, it look like you got a stick so far up your ass, it might pop and you're gonna go crazy, man.
Be respectful.
Olympic shit, like your life depends on it, man.
Be
Right.
respectful.
Ad hominem.
No, this is my
Lexi,
sport,
you got
dude.
your ad hominem.
I'm having
Have
fun.
a good one, buddy.
This is your
Um,
Anyways, Dank, we were saying something, Dank, before we got interrupted. I can't remember
Is
what it
this
was,
the
but it was
first
on that page.
topic of the weekly dig?
Yeah.
basically.
No. Is it? No, we were talking
Yeah,
about
basically.
the opening ceremony before.
I mean, I guess it
Because-
became
Well,
a topic.
Because I have a good topic.
Yeah, I'll give you the limelight then, buddy. Let him finish their conversation.
Yeah, I have no idea where we were.
Yeah, but anyways, just to finish or to preface, while I think it's very unfortunate for this one individual that has an extremely rare condition whereby she has an advantage over other women, I don't think that this person automatically gains the right to compete just by virtue of having an inalienable characteristic.
There should
Like,
be
Are
an
you
open
gonna
category.
are you gonna argue to me, Dank, that we should cater to 1 in 20,000?
There should be an open category.
We should not
There
punish them.
is. That's the men's category. The men's category
Yeah,
is open.
That is it. Just compete. in
Okay,
the
so
open.
let me get this. Okay, that's actually where we were. You were saying the men's category, and she should go compete in the
Yeah.
men's category. So let me get this straight. So you guys are
Well, I'm
saying
not saying she should,
You guys
but-
are saying that women should not box another woman because she naturally produces more testosterone, but that woman should go and fight men who not only produce more testosterone
I'm
than
not
her,
saying-
but also produce and lift more weights.
No, I'm not saying she should. What I'm saying is that unfortunately for her, she's not able to compete in certain sports due to this inalienable characteristic. It's unfortunate, but the runner who's got shorter legs than everybody else certainly isn't gonna get a fucking handicap because he's got shorter legs than everybody else, but he's just as fast, but he still can't qualify, right? So, like, at the end of the day, you have to draw the line somewhere and say, it's unfortunate on either side. If you have an advantage or disadvantage, we cannot change the core foundation of what this sport
I
in
have an
particular is.
ultimate suggestion and problem solver for this whole scenario.
Well, no, before you get into that, Timmy, let me and Dank finish here.
Drop it in the side chat, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll just say it.
Like, my only other thing was I was about to look up Muhammad Ali's daughter. I'm pretty sure I remember a few years ago she accidentally killed a woman in the ring, and that was just my next thing. What about
With your
that?
penis?
Huh?
With her bare hand?
Well,
yes.
Well, okay. So
no, not with her bare hands. With her
assuming-
boxing gloved hands.
Right. No, and boxing gloves.
There is
So
no difference.
Right. So assuming that this is a sanctioned fight and not an underground fucking bullshit fight. So assuming this is a sanctioned fight and they're both tested for performance enhancing drugs, it would mean that going into this fight, they were both operating on a relatively same physiological level. However, clearly Muhammad Ali's daughter, or whoever it is, niece or whatever, has a much higher level, much higher skill set and absolutely destroyed this fucking poor girl and killed her.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Right. So if at the end of the day the governing body of whatever institution they fought in did a poor job in sanctioning this fight and set up this girl to die, then they need to be reprimanded in due course. Because that's not right.
Can you guys try and wrap this? And we'll
Yeah,
move
I'm
on.
good now. I just wanted to put that one point out. I could be wrong that it was Muhammad Ali's daughter. I'm pretty sure I remember a female boxer like killing somebody semi recently, at least 7 years ago, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty much done now.
Go ahead, Tim.
No, she did not.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Tim.
I'm looking that up now.
I want to say there should be a new category, just there is for disabled folks. We should make a tranny category for
That would be
boxing
lit.
stuff.
That would be lit.
I doubt that would be successful.
No, are you shit?
If society keeps projecting forward the way it is, there will be enough people in the category to have that category.
But for right now, I think, in all honesty, I doubt that would be a feasible thing. But in all honesty, I think when you are competing in a sport like boxing or any kind of martial arts where there is serious lethal force, and there is lethal force that you use in boxing, when you are competing in such a sport as a man, as a woman, with a man, with a woman, whatever it may be, you are putting yourself at risk for such a thing. There is no doubt in that. Even if it was two men competing with each other, there are men who had completely level playing fields, as they say, and some of them have ended up disabled, some some have died, some are in a vegetated state. So in complete honesty and frankness, you can't say that just because this is happening in a sport where you are hitting each other with very, very, very precise mechanical movements and very strong force, whether someone is taking drugs isn't, or someone is enhanced and someone is not, you cannot realistically say that this is unfair because one person died or something like this. Maybe there are cases where it is, but just broadly, no.
Can we just acknowledge that the Chinese are cheaters?
Well, let's give Bandy the chance to do his topic.
So,
but we can go into doping and stuff later.
Yeah, so I read the news today, and oh boy, it was about a lucky man who made the grade. And though the news was rather sad, well, I just had to laugh.
Shut up!
I saw the photograph.
No, give him his chance. Give him his chance. Continue your theater, sir.
Oh yeah, he blew his mind out in a car. He didn't notice that the lights had changed. A crowd of people stood and stared. They'd seen his face before. Nobody was really sure if he was from the House of Lords. I saw a film today. Oh boy. The English army had just won the war. A crowd of people turned away, but I just had to look. Having read the book, I'd love to turn you on.
Are we halfway? Just curious. Are we halfway at least?
Yes,
Woke up, fell out of bed, dragged comb across my
head. That's good, man. I appreciate the comedic relief, and that's one hell of a song, dude. So
I know. It was stuck in my head all day. And then we're talking about the news. I'm like, whoa, is that why it was stuck in my head? The weekly dig?
Possible. Tiny, do you want to go to dope? McDope?
Yeah, the Chinese are fentanyl users, so they've been using fentanyl to up their testosterone levels artificially. That
I thought we were
causes
going with like a realistic approach here, but we can do this
No,
instead.
they did. They do.
What?
They do. And Russians as well. But the thing is, the Russians, they do it in a different way. They use
You're
different
saying
drugs.
that they're getting in and they're passing, even though they're taking fentanyl.
The Chinese are taking different drugs. The way that they are taking their drugs is completely different. But that is not
TMZ.
the way that the Chinese train. The Chinese training regimen is absolutely intense. Yani they are very, very, very strict, very intense. You should see how some of these children train.
But
Some of these children
don't investigate them.
Well, that's
without-
the
years old.
Don't
yeah, that's the other
investigate
thing.
them
A lot of those kids don't exactly choose the sport that they excel at.
Yeah.
You will
The-
do this sport. You have no
The
choice
aspect,
in the matter.
from my understanding of that, Timmy, is that mostly from the TMZ point of view, they were taking a heart medication that helped their recovery time. They got in trouble recently, and they said that they were eating at a restaurant and it was in the hamburgers. That's why I call it McDope. And
Yeah, right.
they were like, "Oh, okay." And there's people releasing this information that China said if WADA keeps investigating, or if someone keeps investigating WADA, WADA, that they're going to not allow the Olympics to be in Iowa next or something. So I didn't look into all that. That's just what I have heard.
Yeah, it's a bunch of clowns. The Olympics are a bunch
Wait.
of clowns.
They're going to prevent.
look.
They're going to prevent the Olympics from happening in the U.S., China.
Yeah, I don't know how that all works at all. I don't know how that blackmail even works. Because honestly, couldn't America just be like, "Go fuck yourself"? Like, I don't understand how that works.
Hey, America, we are big friends, yeah. Stop it.
We
Don't
give
have
you
the-
all
don't
your
have the-
stuff.
We are
Being
your
realistic-
friend. Me,
being realistic.
Xi Jinping, the
Most
yeah, me, Xi
most athletes
Okay.
that are competing at a top professional level, most of them are realistically taking some kind of drugs. I doubt that many of them are not. Very, very, very few would be in that category, I think. And I doubt that most are not taking some kind of drugs or some kind of um, enhancement to their performance
Well,
because they need it.
you know what medication I was given the most to recover from a lot of pretty intense injuries related to sports?
Fent.
Steroids. No, steroids.
Yeah.
Like,
realistically,
you are,
can.
yeah, and you are regularly given steroids to recover from injuries, ailments. This is a normal procedure in the medical field because it enhances recovery. So at a certain point, yes, every athlete is using steroids in one form or another. It's just whether or not they're banned. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is what I mean. When you look at these drugs, they are quite complex, and there are people who study specifically for these fields in enhancement and performance enhancing specifically.
I remember
every year there's a new drug.
Yeah, so I remember GSP. I don't know if you guys know who George St. Pierre is, a famous MMA fighter. He was talking about drugs in the UFC and how the UFC tests, and he was arguing that for a long time and still today, the UFC tests for certain drugs, but he's like most of the top level fighters aren't using steroids to get stronger. They're using steroids or certain prescriptions or certain drugs to make themselves faster, so to increase their cognitive ability in the middle of a fight, so that they can react faster, they can twitch faster, and this is where they're often gaining their advantage, and not necessarily in like a physical attribute.
I can see why he would say that, but I would have to say obviously because for legal reasons he can't say that yes they do. So I have to doubt him.
For what? Sorry.
The fact that they are not taking anything for physical performance.
Well, I mean, I think it would depend in terms of what the testing criteria is, right? So it depends on what they're testing. If there's performance enhancing substances that are legal within the framework of the what they allow, then people are going to take them.
Of course.
So what is the worst case scenario here, though? That they're going to strip all those medals and they're going to give it to the next person, and basically all the people in that event got screwed over because the winner was a cheater?
They are all taken.
Well,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It depends how you want to look at it. For the individual athlete to lose to somebody who eventually got caught doping, it's a pretty big deal because you lose out on immediate 15 minutes of fame that is really important to those athletes.
Bro. Box of Wheaties,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, you know what? More power to them, right? But people don't give a fuck that you won a gold medal retroactively, right? They care that you won the gold medal in the moment. That's what they remember. That's what you can market. So for the individual athletes, it hurts a lot. For the sport, it's whatever. Who gives a shit? They do it every 4 years. Everybody
A
forgets.
person was robbed of the experience, not just the gold medal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. I don't know if this is. I don't know how big of a deal this is. I don't know if it's going to escalate into any type of infraction or not. I think it's just a bunch of noise right now to poo-poo on China.
I don't agree.
Okay, go ahead.
I think the Chinese are cheaters. They literally have a fucking thing that they say in their culture. If you can cheat, cheat. That's what they say.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look it up.
I'll just take your word for it. 'Cause I'm lazy.
I think
You troll a lot, so I don't know. I just don't know when you're being serious.
wait, was it actually a Chinese person caught?
Well, so I'll explain it, Victor. They claim that they were not cheating and doping because they were on some sort of heart medication. Isn't that right, RW?
TMZ. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So something like heart medication to enhance recovery time. And they said, no, that was in the burgers we ate or something.
Yeah.
And then they're denying the U.S. being able to investigate it.
Why would it be the United States investigating it, not the actual Olympic Committee?
Because they don't trust them to do it.
Okay. Well, those are the guys that organize the events and shit, so.
I'm going to do a side note here real quick before we segue into the next topic. Damn it, I hate pushing the wrong buttons. But today I got lit up by Yellow Jackets. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Yellow Jackets.
Yeah.
But I know about this plant. Damn it, that's the wrong fucking thing. Give me a second. The plantain plant. It's a little green plant that grows everywhere. And if you crush it up, you can apply the juice and the plant to either the bug bite that's ridiculously itchy or the sting. What the fuck? How come I can't paste it? Sorry, but anyway, it grows everywhere, and if you get stung out or you have poison ivy and you're out or whatever, it's a plant to understand and know because it's just that important.
But do you have allergic reaction to this, or?
No, just pain and inflammation.
All right, so the regular.
On a side note. No, I was gonna say to finish up. I was gonna add a side note to a little survival tip here on this topic.
Do it, man.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so over 90% of mushrooms. This is throughout the world. Over 90% of mushrooms are edible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That doesn't mean
delicious. That doesn't mean delicious. But if ever you're stuck in a survival kind of place, right? There's basically at the end of the day, mushrooms that grow off of bark are 99% non-poisonous.
Wood, yeah.
So if you're ever really stuck and you're in doubt and you can't get food in any other way, mushrooms grow literally fucking every month of the year, and they're over 90% of them are edible.
Right. So just to add on to that, just make sure you're in a definite survival situation because the ones that won't kill you will fuck you up royal. And so of those 90% that are edible, only so many of them are actually delicious. Most of them are bitter or spicy, or it tastes like you're chewing on shoe leather. So that's why most of them aren't considered something to pay attention to.
You should really
But it
go
is
for the
what he
ones
said is
that.
worth knowing. Like if you're gonna
Are-
die,
Wait,
Are
have
they-
you ever read the book Back to the Wild? It's like a Californian kid or whatever. He moves to Alaska and then he like
yeah,
starves to death.
he doesn't starve to death. He eats a poisonous plant seed.
Oh yeah, and then
and
he
he dies.
throws up. He throws up all of his liquids and shit like that. Yeah.
You guys,
I don't
you
want to
guys
end up
are-
like that. So I don't know.
you guys are lucky in the US. I just saw how much, but like what percent of like mushrooms are edible where I live, and only 5% are. Yeah.
You have the other
I
5%.
thought- Yeah, we're fucked. I'm
Well, you got
fucked.
fish though, dude. If you die because you don't have food, that's even worse.
That's true. That's true. I've got an ocean right in front of me. I just
Right?
can't
Yeah.
walk
If you
there.
die, you just dumb,
Are
bro.
the mushrooms that aren't tasty? Do they still have good nutritional value or no?
I would think
Most
so.
mushrooms do.
You'd have to look into that on a case by case. It's a broad question. I just harvested chicken of the woods, king bolete, which is also known as porcini, and also puff
I love me
mushrooms,
some
and I've eaten all of
porcini.
those, and they're all delicious. So, and the chicken of the woods is phenomenal. Like it tastes like chicken. So yeah,
Porcini is fucking brilliant.
and
Man,
it is,
if you ever have like a stroganoff, put a bit of porcini in.
I'm gonna try and dry them if I can get more in the harvest. But yeah, I'll let you know.
Do you have
But
any
yeah.
cattle? Do you have any livestock, or is this like?
Yeah, I don't have cattle. I have the neighbors all have cattle around me. I have goats and poultry like ducks, chicken,
No.
guinea hens.
If you want to go mushroom hunting, go in around October time, especially towards where the cows are. They'll have some fun.
Those are the
Oh,
happy
yeah.
mushrooms, my friend.
Those are
Oh,
very
yeah.
happy mushrooms.
Or
I thought
if ever your neighbors like to throw out a lot of rice, and you see some mushrooms growing from their compost heap, you're in for a nice trip.
There was a guy who got lost into Mount. I think it was like the Wicklow Mountains in Ireland, which is just a very long mountain range. However, we have quite a lot of boggy land and that, and so it's perfect for like mushrooms to still psilocybin. And there was a guy who got lost and ran out of food, and he started eating magic mushrooms.
Brandon, have you ever gone down the mushroom route? Have you ever gone down that?
Yes, I
experience?
have eaten mushrooms.
Did you have a good experience or a bad experience?
Pretty good experience. The first time I ate mushrooms, I was in California at a string cheese show. String cheese is a Grateful Dead cover band. We
Okay. I
got
was
the
gonna say okay, that makes sense.
we got the mushrooms and ate them in the parking lot of a bar. We were in Sedona, Arizona. Beautiful place. It's like an oasis in the desert. You should go there sometime if you're ever in Arizona. One of the people that was with us met a guy that to this day I still swear was Fred Durst. And he invited us to hang out at a house that he had in the area. It was like a little condo thing. We went in there. There was like basically nothing in there, like no furniture, anything else like that. He had like one room that he would go into, and he wouldn't would tell us like not to go in there. He brought out like two CD folders that were like full of music, like not just like small CD folders. These were CD folders that were like thousands of CDs in each folder.
So not just Limp Bizkit.
Yeah. So like I said, to this day, I still swear this guy was Fred Durst. But anyway, we smoked some weed, listened to some music, took in an excellent fucking view at night over Sedona. And then the next morning we got up and went to a little cafe that he knew of that had like water sprayers. It was basically like a hose that went around the outside dining area, and they punched pin needle holes through the whole hose. So when they sent water through it, it just misted the whole area. because it's Sedona, Arizona, so it's hot.
Right.
And then we went and looked.
Cool, man.
We went.
We're not condoning drug use here, by the way, children.
Oh, I'm totally promoting it.
I'm not, as a staff of the server, promoting drug use.
Drug use is cringe.
Do you guys want to go into a controversial topic next, or you guys want to go? Well, actually, they're both controversial, but more lighthearted or a more intense topic next?
More intense, but I want to talk about Is there if I talk about my experience with taking shrooms?
Go for it, man.
Yeah, so I went to sleep about 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Woke up, I think it was like a 9:30 in the morning. Fucking hanging out my ass. Roll out of bed. Then my housemates in the kitchen. You want to take shrooms? Sure. Took
Average
shrooms.
morning.
Proceeded to trip balls. that was my experience. Anyway.
All right. I've never had that those type of housemates. I've never had that type of breakfast experience.
It was not a good breakfast. I felt like shit.
Right. My experience was bad. My experience was demons trying to. I don't even know. They just wouldn't leave me alone. And I was just like, it started out with like the room moving. I was like, oh, cool. Things are melting and dripping. This is great. And then it just went into like this like purgatory Dante's Inferno experience. I was like, this is not cool. I was like, how long does this last? Like, this is going for like the next 8 hours. I was like, oh, no. Anyway, not as good for me.
That's wild.
For me, I just felt like sick, and some colors were brighter, and the walls were like wavy.
Right.
And for some reason, I felt the need to. Like, I don't hug people. I don't do that. It's not something I do.
But
I
that
was
day,
like,
you're all over it.
I was hugging my housemate who's sitting there. I was like, she looked like she was about to be sick. I'm like, oh, are you okay? You want a hug? And I'm like, just started hugging her. And then after I came out, I was like, what the fuck?
I've always wanted to trip
Anyway,
in the.
I'm not.
I've always wanted to trip in the Overlook Hotel, the hotel that they used for the filming of The Shining. Like it actually still exists in Colorado.
I've been there.
Of course, it's in Colorado.
I've been there.
Yeah,
Cool
no,
place.
I'm good, thank you.
All right, guys. I'm gonna shift over
I'm
now.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm not gonna talk about any of my experiences, but I've done a lot of mushrooms and I've never had a bad trip.
Congratulations. I'm glad you did not have that experience.
I prefer to not speak on this topic. I'd be in very big trouble.
All right, fair enough. So the next topic that we're going to talk about, which is probably more intense, is the killing of the Hezbollah commander. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name because I will butcher it. But there was a strike that killed some kids in Israel. I don't know much about that story. Someone else will have to fill in on that. And then the retaliation strike was, I believe, in Lebanon and somewhere else outside of Israel.
Well, so officially, Israel retaliated only to the Golan Heights attack on the Druze children. What happened, if you want to, it's the Hezbollah, one of the Hezbollah leaders in Lebanon got killed, and then the leader for Hamas, who was in Iran, got killed. But officially, Israel did not kill the guy in Iran.
So I'm not understanding enough of the story to understand most of that context, but okay.
That's like how much money did they spend on their defense? You know, that's what happens.
Well, what I mean by that, RW, is that like Israel has admitted that they sent a missile into Lebanon that officially killed the leader who commanded the bomb that killed the kids in the Golan Heights. So Israel has said we did that officially. Okay. The leader of Hamas, who was assassinated in Iran, right? There hasn't been any official recognition of who actually committed the act and how it was actually done.
I see. So it was retaliation against something that wasn't proven. It was just propaganda, basically, strike.
For what?
for Israel to have sent the missile that killed the Hezbollah leader without them being able to prove that he was the one that sent the strike that killed the kids.
Oh no,
That
no,
doesn't-
he did. Oh, he did.
Oh, okay, well then
He
fuck
did.
him.
He did. Yeah, yeah. Israel had enough intel. Israel had enough intel to say that this guy was responsible for what happened to those kids. So they went and bombed. Do I fully agree with how they did it? No, not really. Like, I don't think like it's a great thing to just go around bombing other countries because terrorists are in there. But anyways, it's a topic for another day. In terms of how do you deal with a scenario like that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we have
think,
time now, I don't care.
Wasn't he? What was his title? Wasn't he like assistant to the Secretary of State or whatever?
No, he wasn't assistant to Secretary of State. He was a high-level leader. He was a high-level leader in the Hezbollah military branch.
Yeah, but they're like a pseudo state, right? They still have like that type of like.
No, not a pseudo state.
You talking about the Taliban? Are you talking about the Taliban?
No, I'm talking about Hezbollah, bro.
No, Hezbollah is a terror group that operates out of Lebanon.
Houthis. You're talking about Houthis in Yemen.
Or he's just thinking about the fact that oh no, this is Hezbollah. Not okay. Never mind.
Real quick.
The problem with
real quick that it turned out not to be an airstrike. It turned out that they had planted the bomb that killed this guy in that house.
Clandestine strike.
It was not from an airplane. It was already there.
Thanks for that.
And this is Israel. Has Israel claimed responsibility though for the assassination or no?
No, I don't believe so as of yet.
No, as of yet, yeah.
As of yet, they don't seem to admit to a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would ever admit to it. It's not in their advantage to do so. But like, let's call a spade here. Like, Israel probably did this.
Yeah, you're saying it's a fair speculation, but it's still a speculation.
I don't even think it's a speculation, bro.
Well, I mean, given Israel's incredible track record of success in terms of political assassinations, it's definitely within their realm of capabilities.
Assad has a record for that shit.
Yeah, apparently it's like 122,000 to like nil or some shit. I don't know. I made that up on the spot.
Yeah, even with all of those assassinations, like they're still not gonna make the terrorists like next door to them want to stop being terrorists. So it is what it is.
In fact, it's encouraging them.
Yeah, they just added another martyr. They just made another martyr for them to die for.
Well, I don't know. Iran does, but like, I mean, Iran is pretty much like 75% against Israel. But Hezbollah, the crazy. What?
I don't think to the point of it makes more terrorists, that the act of it making more terrorism. At a certain point, you're just
in Lebanon.
Sending a message like, "Hey, you just killed those kids over there. We just fucking broke the shit out of this guy." You know, I know that's
right, but it's not working.
Well,
yeah, but that's not working. I tell you.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
If that was the case, there'd be like no terrorists in Gaza, bro. They like bomb that shit every like 4 years. So
hang on. Well, like first off, I mean, yeah, sure, sending the point would work if they weren't already bombing the shit out of civilians anyway. You know?
I'm not saying
like,
it's. I'm not saying
hey,
it's.
you killed our
I'm not
kids.
saying it's
Fuck
a solution myself. I'm saying that the back and forth makes sense, even if it's not.
But like, listen, Hezbollah. Listen,
the idea that the message doesn't make sense to me because the message would already be set. The fact that they're also bombing civilians anyway, but we don't give a shit.
Well, not just, but regardless of the civilians, the message isn't in the civilians getting killed. The message is in the fact that they can get you from anywhere, right? Which is a message that Israel has been trying to send to these terror groups. Like, it doesn't matter where you hide, we can just fucking drop a bomb on you. But the problem is that mentality that Israel, right? But the mentality that Israel has had in that sense hasn't really worked. Because those terror groups have only gained a tighter grip on the countries or the nations or whatever the fuck you want to call them that they're operating out of, right? Because those people see, you know, another country dropping a bomb on them, as a bad thing rather than the other country taking out a terrorist in their own country, right? They see they see their own people getting killed just to target a terrorist, so they like automatically get sort of emboldened against Israel. Like it just doesn't work. Like it's plain and simple. It just doesn't fucking work.
Well, hopefully, look, I really look. I think there are better countries that are liberal than Israel, and I don't think
Right.
the solution is to like indefinitely like occupy and like subjugate like a group of people. Like there has to be an end to like this scenario. I guess a final solution.
Well,
maybe.
What do you
right.
think
The
that
final
is?
solution comes from both sides. Yeah, well, the final solution comes from both sides, right? Like you can't just ask Israel to drop arms and then and say, "Hey, play nice," because that doesn't work. And you can't just expect the Palestinians to drop arms and play nice because that just doesn't fucking work. So at a certain point, there has to. Hmm?
What works? Yeah, I'm so curious. What works?
Occupation from
Right. Well,
the United States of America. I'm joking. I don't know if we should occupy those guys.
well, no, actually, I don't disagree. There is going to have to be some form of occupation by some fucking Arab nation that wants to bring this to a close, right? Like it's gonna have to happen. But the problem is what Arab nation? No Arab nation is willing to do this.
Saudi Arabia.
For no, Saudi Arabia doesn't want to do it.
I'm
Right?
just saying.
Saudi Arabia doesn't want
They're wealthy
Palestinians.
enough to
Like,
I
that's
think
the
I
problem.
think it has to do with two things. And Salahuddin's gonna disagree with me heavily here. I already know.
Come on, Chad.
Polls suggest that 70% of Palestinians are in support of Hamas, which has the "kill all the Jews in Israel" basically as their slogan.
That's a pretty shitty slogan.
In essence, Palestine as a micronation has to be destroyed. And as a wider issue in the region, I think Islamic culture needs to be looked at.
Needs to be looked at. Like who's gonna look at it, bro? The countries that are running them, the theocracies. Which one?
Yeah, they got to look at it, bro. They don't want to be seen as shitters anymore.
Yeah, well, Islam's not going to go anywhere in the Middle East anytime soon. So, asking Islam to move out of the Middle East so that
That's not what
Israel
I'm
can live
saying.
in
I said
peace.
they need to change it. I
you know,
said they need to change how they act.
right? But that's a lot of them. Most Muslim, most Arabic countries aren't necessarily hostile with Israel. Like that's the thing that most people have to understand. Most Arab countries are not hostile with Israel.
Most Arab countries aren't hostile with the West, just in general. It's just a few
Yeah.
isolated countries.
Like Iraq, Syria, motherfucking.
It's only the ones that
Hang
can
on,
take.
hang on a
Hey,
second. Hang on
hey,
a
hey,
second.
hey,
Iraq,
hey.
Syria. What are we gonna say? Like Lebanon, and then are we gonna mention like Yemen? What else? Are we gonna mention all the ones that were like initially attacked by the United States of America?
Can we just say that all the countries that are
like oh shit, wait, they have poor relations with the West and in specifically like NATO and that. But you're all really no fucking way.
How's their relation with the Catholic Church? Is it pretty good?
you know that all the countries that are fine with the West, it's because they can take their money. That's it. It's the only reason.
Or they're like
We're running out of that. So they're going to be friends with us.
or like
That's a
they're
big
secular
assumption, mate.
states, like Morocco, who's like one of the first people, one of the first countries.
Morocco's not Arab. Morocco's not Arab.
Yeah, Morocco's not Arab. That's
I
not
have a
African.
question for you, Sal.
Sure. They're North African, and
Yeah,
would you say
they're
the
not
majority?
Arab.
Would you say the majority of Moroccans would consider themselves Arab or not?
No, absolutely not.
Oh,
They come from Arab descent, or with the spreading of the Ottoman Empire to like North Africa and like South Spain, or just Spain in general. But no, they wouldn't consider
They're not
themselves
Arabs.
like Middle Eastern or Arabs.
They're not
Nor would-
descendants. They're not descendants from the Arab Peninsula. Like they just aren't. There is some Arabic genetics laced into there because of centuries of Arab conquest, but they're not descendants. Moroccans aren't descendants of Arabia. Like that's pure and simple. Neither are Egyptians, even though Egyptians like to claim some Egyptians like to claim they're Arab, but they're really not.
I mean, the only ones that they could really do that would be on the far east side, and that's just because they're just close enough that it would have been interpopulation mixing.
All the Arab states that have anything worth a shit is because they have a money printer called oil.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, useful.
With
Hang on,
lots
when
of
we say
green.
this, are we talking about like the ones that are just useful to the US? Or are we just talking about like the ones who just have good relations with the West in general? Because like,
I'm
for
just talking
example, there are
about
some.
the countries that are not like poor as like dirt.
Oh yeah, the ones that aren't poor as dirt. Yeah, sure. But the ones with like good relations don't necessarily have to have money. Like, like up until recently, somebody's got feedback.
Welcome back, Andy.
Holy shit, bro. Bandy, what's up? Deep State got him.
Like
Deep State got
up
him.
until like the last 20, 30 years, the majority of the majority of the Middle East had good relations, and well, the majority of the Middle East still do have fairly good relations with the West. But it wasn't it wasn't an economic thing. It was just kind of a friendly mutual thing. They had no reasons to dislike one another.
I mean, it's safe to argue that apart from local, like very isolated conflicts between the Ottoman Empire and other countries, for the most part, the West was fairly friendly with the Ottoman Empire up until World War One, and then kind of changed. Things kind of changed after World War One, and then a lot of the problems that you see in the Middle East are as a result of the end of World War One, where France and Britain basically dictated what countries in the Middle East are going to be. And this is why you have Muslims who are killing each other, because they're fighting over, fucking pieces of land that are fucking ancient. That the British and the French just decided to put a fucking border between and say, yeah, that's one side belongs to them, the other side belongs to them, and fuck the rest, right?
Well, yeah, lines on maps. People die for lines on maps. That is.
I love the Amish.
Well, at the end of the day, what's pretty funny? I like
cheers to the Amish.
What I really like about the Ottoman Empire and its fall is it created the new Turkic state, where it's like secular liberalism, and and right now it might be on a scuffed road, but no, it's still up there, bro.
For what?
With Turkey, as in general.
Yeah.
After Ataturk, that's what I really like.
I mean, you can
equal.
You can call the Turks secular. Yeah, you can call the Turks secular, fine, as a political entity, but they're certainly not a secular country in how their people are treated.
Sure, but what I really only care about is, I guess, how the government influences its citizens, and if an influence is like a theocracy, I really don't like theocracies. I think theocracies are one of the worst things to happen in like human development, but it's like a necessary thing because
But you have to understand though, politically in Turkey, you have a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? You have this grandeur idea that they're a secular nation, but all of the laws that are enacted are based off of deep Islamic tradition. So
I can grant
hold
that.
on, Victor. Sorry, buddy. After if Incarnation was done his point, Bandy raised his hand. I'm just curious if Bandy's raised hand was on topic or absolutely off topic. Off topic. All right.
I was gonna talk about the Amish Empire, but that
No.
ship has
Okay.
been-
So if you guys can finish up your point, we'll move on to a next topic.
By the way, don't ask the Turkish about the Armenians.
Sure, people commit genocide. That is what happens, bro. That is a fact of life. Okay. Throughout history. But what I was saying about the cultural influences on laws, I think that's okay. But if it goes to forced religious practices, or if you are not part of this religion, you'll be taxed different or whatever. I think that is or you'd be treated different. I think that is wrong, and I don't think unless you can show me evidence of like Turkey implementing those types of laws, I don't know.
When it
Yeah,
comes to
yeah, you can go for it, Joe. Go for it.
when it comes to Turkey, specifically, yes, you are legally allowed to be transgender. Yes, you are legally allowed to be gay. Yes, you're allowed. Yes, you're allowed to have all these, like, generally considered secular beliefs and like sexualities, etc. And there's all this like quote unquote progressive legislation. However, Turkey also definitely turned a blind eye towards violence and discrimination towards these groups. So they just it's kind of like a lot of it to me seems to be like a law through the people rather than through the state kind of thing. They just allow this stuff to happen. They don't really care, and they do routinely shut down like protests for more LGBTQ rights, etc. They are definitely not a bastion of like liberal democracy in the slightest.
True.
They sure are more progressive than what you would have had during the Ottoman Empire, but
Or
the
comparative Islamic states, I guess, or already
well, just
Islamic. Yeah, I
yeah,
guess.
sure, or even places like yeah, or even like I would say they're less progressive than less progressive than some of the Eastern European states that we have. Like thinking also like Croatia, Serbia, Kosovo. But yeah.
Sure. Well, all I can see is from the histories they've they were like one of the first people, first states to, implement like women's equality. So I think that's like a really good step for like at least human development. And if there are people protesting in the state for more rights or like more what's it called, protections for LGBTQ people, I think that is a sign of a democracy because they are at least able to protest. If they were somewhere else, there'd
Well,
probably be like a Iran,
Yeah.
for example, there'd be like clubbed over their head by the morality police, put into a van, and then you'd never see them again,
And
bro.
well,
So
I mean, it's
just
sort of
just remember just remember this about Turkey. I think they currently occupy something like 5 or 6 different territories, but they currently occupy a piece of land that rightfully belongs to Greece. So like Turkey Turkey's not a good country by any means. Like they're like a France style country where they play a good show and they look like they're a good country, but they're fucking dirty people.
like occupying parts of land that is enjoys that's more like territorial expansion, and I don't know how strong Greece is right now to protect itself. So if they go to war, they go to war, bro. I don't know how alliances work like that, bro. To be honest, I don't.
They're both part of NATO. That's why it's a fucking joke, right? That's why I say that Turkey is a sheep in wolf's or is a wolf in sheep's clothing. They play this nice game. They look like on the surface like they're really like progressive, so that they can take advantage of being part of a NATO alliance, while at the same time being a fucking like just a deplorable fucking state. And the people within the state, to what Joe is saying, like these people, like a lot of these people are very racist, especially through to very specific groups. And they're not shy about it, and they still publicly fucking maim and humiliate, and subjugate people of different races based off of long-standing historical conflicts. So, I don't like Turkey's a fucking shithole if you ask me personally. But that's just me.
I
Hey,
agree.
look, I'm not saying it's better than America or even Canada, bro. I'm just saying it's better than a lot of countries in that region. Okay, just like Israel is better than a lot of countries in that region as well. But I still have like a lot of gripes with like both the Israeli state and probably if I was living in Turkey, the Turkish state.
Yeah, I mean, Israel is infinitely better than Turkey, but I digress.
Um, Erdogan is also very well known for jailing political opponents as well. That's another thing to add. He's Yeah, they like to make a big song and dance about being a liberal, like about being a democracy, but it's just like it's of the same nature as like Russia. They're like,
I want to
yeah,
ask
well,
you
hey
guys a
guys.
question.
They have. Actually, I have not read about this. Actually, send that to me. That would be interesting.
Yep, sure.
What is the freest country in the world, you guys think?
I would say the United States of America.
I'd say Iceland.
Iceland.
Antarctica.
Would you
That's
take
not a
like
country. It's a
France
continent.
20? Would you take France 24
No.
as like a somewhat of a
When you
alright
when you
source?
when you say free,
Couldn't hear
I
anybody.
mean like able to progress in human development. That's what I mean. But that's
That's
when
not the
when I
definition
think
of
about
free,
free.
though.
Oh, I think the ability to like progress in human development is one of the like the hallmarks of you being free or not. You could be quote unquote free and then like be on like subjugate yourself like online forever, or like subjugate yourself in the brothel forever, or like a homeless addict forever. But that's not going to improve that's not going to improve your human development whatsoever. So
We're gonna switch out in the next 2 minutes if you guys can close up your topic.
Okay.
you guys hear about the well, it's off topic, but it's like the Israeli protesters protesting for the right for torture.
What?
No, I have not.
No, I've never seen that.
All right, okay, I'll send it.
So while he's working with that, Dank Brandon wanted to talk about Trump visiting the women's something.
No, it was the
Black
National.
Journal.
It was the National
about a National
Association
Black
of Black
Associ-
Journalists.
So I was close. Right? I was pretty close. Anyway, so Trump rocked up right off the bat. There was in my opinion, a very pointed, loaded question that was impossible to answer without looking like a complete ass. So instead, he went right back after her and like belittled her back. And that was it was an interesting experience. So go ahead, Brandon. What's your take on that experience?
Well, I mean, I think it's weird that you characterize it as loaded with to like crafted to make sure that he wouldn't be able to not look like an ass. I mean, she just read him his own comments, so you're basically just saying he's an ass.
Yes.
No, he said that's this interpretation on her interpretation.
I'm saying I think that Trump is an ass. I'll still take him over other people as president, but I think it was interesting how he responded to her. I thought it was entertaining.
Okay. Well, what's the guy's name? Fucking Republican guy. I don't know. I saw the damn clip. One of those Republican guys on CNN. He was like, "Did Trump crap the bed?" Yes, he did. The difference, the question is he going to roll around in it or is he going to change the sheets? Scott Jennings. That's what the fucking guy's name is. Like everybody understands that he like completely screwed this up. The main thing that he screwed up was that he concentrated so much on trying to say that Kamala Harris was pretending to be Indian and then suddenly became black. And he like he couldn't get off of like that, which like kind of proves that he's like not mentally stable or all there mentally either. All the rest of the stuff, it was just really funny.
You're saying because he's an asshole that he's demented?
No, I'm saying that because of the answers that he gave, the fact that he could not stop himself from going back to, well, she's not black. I mean, she never used to say that she was black. She used to say she was an Indian. Now suddenly she's black when she's running against me. How the fuck am I supposed to run against a black lady? Like everything that he said.
That though, like, is that true?
No,
is
not
it true
the,
that
not
she
the
did
thing.
that? Is it true that she waffled?
Is it true that she what?
That she waffled.
It is
that she
true.
went
It is
from
true that
being
her mother
Indian
is
to black.
Indian. Her mother is Indian and her father is Jamaican. That is true. Yes.
Jamaican does not mean black though.
No, her father is a black man.
Okay.
Like
no, wait.
But her father is a black Jamaican man.
He's a black man, so he has clout.
Fox.
Huh?
Well, one.
What'd you say? Wait a second. He state. Oh man, let me look because there's been conflicting statements I have heard.
She's not. To boil it down, she's.
Well,
not
I mean, her mother
African-American.
is Indian. She doesn't really have very many Indian features.
Does she have to be African American to be black though? That's an odd.
Well, hang
concept.
on. When you say not Indian
Yeah.
features,
Exactly.
Like
Thank
facial-
you, RW.
No. Wait a minute.
Well, this is the
Wait a
thing,
minute,
RW.
wait a minute.
Why is that an
I
odd
know you guys
conflict?
ain't trying to like id poll me on like me saying that she doesn't have Indian characteristic. The facial features and things like that, they don't match. Like or they not that they don't match, but they do not favor the Indian heritage in her. I didn't even know she was half Indian.
I can see it, though. That's subjective.
I totally disagree. I totally
see the Indian in there.
There are so many different
Absolutely.
ethnicities from for like a Punjabi.
She does look a little bit Asian, but I don't. I mean, the Asian features would be the Indian features.
It does
because they share a
it
lot
does
of
really, it
genetic
doesn't really matter,
markers.
to be honest, at the end of the day.
Well, it doesn't, but anyways.
Of course, you're gonna.
It really
mark it off
doesn't
the page.
matter. Like, to be honest, if she has like heritage that is, black, and Jamaicans are black and hair like on the most part.
Well, the thing is, most Black Americans don't really see Caribbeans and like Africans as like Black Americans. This is like a contention with them. Like culturally, they're different.
There's a growing debate. Yeah, he's right. They might call themselves foundational Black Americans.
Yeah,
Puerto Ricans don't like Mexicans.
Do you know what it matters to that demographic that it's not okay for
A lot.
A lot.
They're very like tied in with identity politics. So yeah, I would say it's important to them.
I mean, no offense, RW, but the one thing about Black people is they look a whole lot more about skin tone than they do facial features. Like they're not as heavy on phenotypes. They're all about like the color of the skin, like how dark it is or how light it is. And yes, they care a lot.
What does it
about that
matter in
shit.
the end? What does it matter?
It matters a lot to them because they don't see lighter skinned Black people as Black people.
Racism doesn't make sense, dude.
That ask the community. It's not my community. It's their community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like Black people like that try to one up each other too. That aren't like that are more mixed race than actually full Black.
Would you guys say this about Obama? Yo, he's not Black, bro. He's not foundational.
There was questions
not
about
foundational Black, brother. He can't be Black.
There was
He's
questions of
Kenyan and
Obama.
Indonesian.
Yeah, bro.
There were
Barry
questions.
Sartero.
I don't even know if
But
he's
at the end of the
American.
day,
That's the problem I have.
It did not matter. He was a Hawaiian-born superstar, genius man who became the.
It's a legit Hawaiian.
But yeah,
person.
to go back,
He
to
did
go
more for
back
the
to
LGBT than he did for Black
to
people.
go back to the actual
Yeah,
topic.
Let's get back up.
Yeah, to go back to the
Topic,
actual topic. There was no policy discussion in that interview at all. He did not try and tie anything that he was doing or that he was saying to any policy. He gave empty platitudes.
Wait, what did he say about the convicted felons of January 6th? Do you remember?
Oh, nobody cares about that fake psyop.
I know that he said. I know that he had said that they were. I know that he had said that they were patriots and like he was going to look into pardoning some of them. I think she had asked what about the ones that were violent, and he had said like something about we would have to look into it if they were violent. But the problem is just like the thing that he said with the cop shooting. The courts are the reason are the way that we look into whether a person was violent, whether or not they need to go to jail. About the cop shooting, as well. He like somebody told him there was like a video of a cop shooting a woman that was throwing hot boiling water at him. He never watched the video. If he had more things to say about it. I haven't watched the video myself. I have listened to the audio. And I know what basically transpired, the shooting itself, the cop shooting the person, that was justified. However, that cop shouldn't have never let it get to that point. He should have not let that person go into their kitchen. I'm pretty sure they were called there on like a mental health check to begin with, so they should have already known not to let a mental health check person that you're checking on go walk around their house willy nilly.
Well,
his response to that
which-
was basically, well, yeah, I mean, in that case, he probably doesn't need immunity, but I mean, we would have to look into that to see if he gets immunity. He's like, you know, that doesn't look good to me. Well, that's the reason why we want cops to not have such broad immunity, so that they can be brought up on charges and they can go through a court process, so that we can actually collect evidence and find out what happened, not just take the police officer's word on what they say. And so those are all the ways that he shit the bed in that interview. All of the things that you might want to say, that he was complaining about the audio, and the woman opened her first question up calling him a racist and things like that. That's not actually what she said. She actually just presented him with a bunch of his own quotes, and his own quotes are racist, so he had to like fight against that.
I want to mention one thing on the video. I literally just watched it like 2 minutes ago because somebody messaged me about it, and I've already watched it before, and it looked like she did throw a pot of boiling water, but then I watched back and I saw the actual full clip, and she definitely attempted to. But anyway, when it comes to like the police, when they entered in, and it's like, oh, I don't know why they let her go to her kitchen and walk around willy nilly. When you walk straight into the house from the front door, you're immediately presented by a dining room, then behind the kitchen with a stove of boiling water, and she was sitting down on the sofa. So I mean, sure, they could have brought her into another room, but it was literally within like a minute or two. So I don't know, maybe they could have done it better. But yeah. As for the rest of the video, yeah, I completely.
Does she ask them if she can get up, or does she just get up?
They ask her to get up, I believe, to go remove the boiling water.
Yeah, see, that's their mistake. They should have never told her to get up and go remove the boiling water. The shooting itself, that's completely justified. They were in fear for their life. Boiling water could have really fucked them up, and then she would have been able to like fuck them up even more because they would have been dealing with the boiling water. But it should have never gotten to that point. They should have been able to handle the situation better and have better situational awareness. On that, I'm going to go ahead and cut out because my kids are going to bed and I need to go eat. So appreciate you guys for like having me on and everything, and I'm going to roll out.
All right,
Right, see you, man.
Later, dude.
Good night, weirdos.
Later.
Trump 2024.
Okay, so that is the end of my video. Bye. End.